off or silence all cell phones during the meeting. Meetings are televised every day on Channel 2 at 6 p.m. and midnight and available for viewing on YouTube. Call to order, Pledge of Allegiance, followed by silent meditation. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Amen. Okay, first up, we have a proclamation. Mrs. Cecil? City of Leavenworth, Kansas, proclamation. Whereas September 17, 2022 marks the 235th anniversary of the drafting of the Constitution of the United States of America by the Constitutional Convention, and whereas it is fitting and proper to accord official recognition to this magnificent document, its memorable anniversary, and to the patriotic celebrations which will commemorate the occasion. And whereas Public Law 915 guarantees the issuing of a proclamation each year by the President of the United States of America, designation September 17th through 23rd as Constitution Week. Now therefore, I, Kamala M. Leonhard, Mayor of the City of Leavenworth, Kansas, hereby proclaim September 17th through 23rd, 2022 as Constitution Week. I urge all citizens to study the Constitution and reflect on the privilege of being an American with all the rights and responsibilities which that privilege involves. So here you go, ma'am.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, you want to say a couple things?
I'd just like to thank the City of Leavenworth for this proclamation. I'm representing the Daughters of the American Revolution, the Captain Jesse Leavenworth Chapter here in town. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, next up, old business. Consideration of previous meeting minutes. Minutes from August 23rd, 2022, regular meeting. Any questions or concerns from fellow commissioners?
Nope.
Just need a motion, please.
Madam Mayor, I move to approve the minutes from August 23rd, 2022, regular meeting.
Second.
Begin voting with Commissioner Hengela.
Aye.
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 Go. Next up, second consideration ordinances. Second consideration ordinance number 8191, approve special use permit daycare, 3400 Iowa Street.
Madam Mayor and Commission, there have been no changes since the August 23rd City Commission meeting. This is a daycare that previously existed in town, and they're just moving to a new location.
Okay. Any questions? No. Okay. Then I just need a roll call. Commissioner Martin?
Aye.
Aye. Commissioner Rather? Aye. Commissioner
Aye.
Commissioner Wilson? Commissioner Hengela?
Aye.
Okay. Ayes have passed. Second consideration ordinance number 8192, rescind special use permit daycare 3611 Shrine Park Road.
Madam Mayor and Commission, this also has no changes from the August 23rd meeting. This is rescinding the special use permit of the old location of the daycare that we just approved. So if there's
Okay.
any questions, we can answer those for you tonight.
Any questions?
No.
Okay. Roll call. Commissioner Martin?
Aye.
Commissioner Bowder?
Aye.
Mayor Leonhard? Aye.
Aye.
Commissioner Wilson? Commissioner Hengler?
Aye.
Okay. Okay. New business, public comment, i.e. items not listed on the agenda or receipt of petitions. Public comment is limited to 2 to 3 minutes, and no action will be taken by the commission on public comment items. Please state your name and address. A sign-up sheet will be provided in the commission chambers for anyone wishing to speak. And do we have a gentleman here?
We do, Mr. McGowan.
Okay, Mr. McGowan, please.
My name is Hvac and I live at 1901 Woodridge Drive here in Leavenworth. I'm glad Chief Kitchens is here because I'm going to talk about the city tow contract. I just wanted to alert the commission and also our community not to use the city's tow contract unless you negotiate your price with that tow company ahead of time, because you might end up paying $800 for a 1.9 mile tow within the city limits of Leavenworth. My son was involved in an accident driving my vehicle, and when I arrived on scene, I asked the officer if I could call it tow truck now, and she said, no, I already have one on the way. Do you want me to call it off? And I thought for a second, and I said, no, that's good. My insurance will cover it. So just a few minutes later, the tow truck arrives, and just as the tow truck drivers were about to hook up to my vehicle, I said to him, hey, I'd like you to take this to Ken's garage. And he says, hey, I'm sorry, but these have to go back to our lot. And I questioned him about it emphatically, and he says, hey, I'm sorry, that's just the way it is, or something to that effect. And I thought, well, it's Saturday afternoon, about noon, I'm busy, I'll deal with this on Monday. Well, on Monday, to my chagrin, I went to get my truck and I asked the gentleman, how much did it cost? He said, $800. And I just started laughing because I thought he was joking with me. I learned that he wasn't. He stated that it had to be in cash because they'd had issues with credit cards. And I stated something to the effect, I was mad at this point. I said, this is highway robbery, and I'm going to talk to Chief Kitchens about this. So then I go to get some cash. My bank's right down the street. I come back and he says, well, the bill's now $650. I took off an administrative fee. So it was $350 for the tow, $150 for a storage fee that I did not want or did not request, and a $150 cleanup fee. That was just to get the vehicle out of their locked lot. I had to pay another $65 to get it towed to Ken's garage like I wanted it in the first place. So lessons learned. I talked to Deputy Chief Nicodemus because I didn't want to bother our chief about it. But I talked to the Deputy Chief and I found out that our city tow contract does not negotiate any prices or anything like that with tow companies. They stay out of it, and I understand why you'd want to do that. But I also found out nothing in this contract prevented them from taking that vehicle to Ken's garage like I requested. So I incurred $50 a day storage fee for 3 days when they were closed the entire weekend and would not let me get it out of there. I also understand now, as a result of me talking to Deputy Chief Nicodemus, that all these tow companies have been spoken to about, but to my knowledge, 2 months down the road, there's nothing that prevents another citizen from getting screwed like I did unless we talk and look out for each other in this community. So that's why I'm here tonight. I have all the receipts, the bills and everything if anybody needs it, but.
Wait, don't sit down yet.
Okay.
I just have a question.
I was trying to
So
stay
you
within my 3
you can't,
minutes.
so it was sent automatically and you couldn't request, I mean, can you request your own tow?
Your own
company?
tow, yeah. Can you,
Yes.
Chief
And
Kitchens, or, yeah.
my understanding,
Yeah,
Either of you, I just have the
Okay.
question.
after talking to Deputy Chief Nicodemus, he said, one of the reasons that's taken me so long to get here is because my son that was in the accident moved overseas and I didn't have contact with him in a while, and then my schedules didn't match up. This took place a while ago.
Okay.
But typically dispatch or the responding officer are not supposed to call a tow truck. I asked my son if he called the tow truck and he said no. So to my understanding, that was a violation of our own internal policies. But I don't have as big an issue with that because she asked me if I wanted to call it off and I said no.
Right.
You know, and I understand why the city doesn't want to get involved in price negotiation with our local tow companies. But I also don't want some local citizen being told they need $650 cash, and they don't even have $650 in their bank account. And so that vehicle just keeps racking up $50 a day in that locked lot, and they can't get it out. And so what do? They're walking, getting loans, who knows? And that's why I came here this evening. I'm pretty much over my angst about getting screwed, but I don't want any other poor bastard to get screwed either.
Yeah,
I
appreciate that.
just remember being in Kansas City and them racing, I mean, the tow companies racing to get to a wreck when they listen to the police scanner. Chief, is that what they, I mean, we don't have any say over the tow companies, do we?
You would, you know, if you're-
Yeah.
Provide one little clarification.
I was,
To the policy. So when an officer responds to a traffic accident, very often the people are a little confused, they're upset, they're not sure exactly what to do. So we have a tow list of 5 companies that are in the community. If they don't know what to do or they're confused, we call the record company that's on our list. Hey, there's a tow company that needs to come and tow this car for the accident, which is what happened in this case, unless I misunderstood. Mac is exactly right. The police department of the city of Leavenworth does not get into the middle of contract or price establishing on what the tow service is. We just arrange for the tow to be there. A person can request their own tow. For example, people that have USAA know that they want this particular company to come, they can make that request. Either of those options are available by policy, but if no one says anything to us and they don't really know, we just call the next record on the list. Okay?
Gosh, live and learn, I guess.
yeah.
one of the things that I questioned the gentleman when he gave me my $800 bill was why $350? And he said they were required to meet a timeliness standard because they've been called by the city. I hence learned from Deputy Chief that there is no response standards for them. So this happened about noon on a Saturday, and take it for what it's worth. That's what happened to me. $350 to get there. My insurance company did cover that one tow for $350, but they would not cover the storage fee for $150. They would not cover the $150 cleanup fee, and they would not cover the second tow to get it to the place I wanted to fix it in the first place.
Yeah. Which Ken's was probably open on Saturday.
No,
Or
they weren't,
No.
but I had permission to put the vehicle in a location there.
I got you.
Well, thank you, Mr. McCowan, on that. Mr. Kramer, is that something, a line, amendment we could add to our existing contract, a not to exceed limit?
I think we'd want to have a bigger discussion about that.
Sure.
So I'll provide the commission the policy, some information, and then you all, if you guys want to speak about that more, I think we may have to make that decision. But
Perfect.
Okay.
Thank you.
No, thank you, Mr. McKeown. Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, well, that's great. I know that's, yeah. Okay, did we have any other, nobody else wanted to talk? Okay. Next up, let me turn here. Next up is mayor's appointments. I, Mayor Leonhard, move to appoint to the Grow Leavenworth County Development Corporation Board Jen Anders to a term ending May 31st, 2024.
Second.
Begin voting with Commissioner Hengela.
Can I ask a question first?
Yes.
Is Grow Leavenworth County Development Corporation Board something different than the LCDC?
Yes, yes. Yep. Here, Assistant City Manager can speak to that. Yeah, it's not
Thank you.
LCDC. No.
So the city of Leavenworth participates in a group called the Grow Leavenworth County Development Corporation. It's separate from LCDC, the Leavenworth County Development Corporation. This was a group that was created over a decade ago for the primary purpose at that time of being able to draw down low-interest loans from the Network Kansas group for entrepreneurs here at Leavenworth. So if that kind of helps the purpose of the board. The city of Leavenworth, the mayor and commission appoint 5 appointees to that board, and it's currently an overall board of 13.
Thank you. Aye.
Oh,
Aye.
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 Aye, okay. Okay, next up, Resolution B-2320, adopting planters to schedule of charges.
Madam Mayor and Commission, the next 3 items will be handled by Andrea Cheatham, the Housing Manager for the Leavenworth Housing Authority.
Okay.
Madam Mayor and Commissioners, that resolution is changing our charges that we charge tenants who've moved out of our apartments. They have not been updated since 2018. And looking at the charges that we are charging, we're still significantly cheaper than any other housing authorities that I even came on. The reason being, we do have people who are on fixed income, so we're not trying to break them, we're just trying to motivate them to do the work. The items that are charged for the other things like replacement drip pans and things like those are the actual charges that we are charged from the manufacturer, so we just pass the same cost. We don't do any kind of markup or anything. Those are just the same charges we pass along.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
How much of an increase is there? I'm having trouble.
We really didn't do any increases on the things like we do, like cleaning stoves or refrigerators or anything. Most of the changes are just coming in as new things we're seeing we have to replace when tenants move out. And then the raise in prices we're seeing because of inflation and stuff on the items. That's the most increase you're going to see.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That requires that the governing body acting as the Leavenworth Housing Authority Board pass these in a public manner so that they're public record fees, so that's why you have it before you tonight.
Okay. Anyone else have any questions?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
On page 3 of the resolution, at the bottom of the list, it says all costs exclude labor. Are these just the parts charges? And
These are the
then,
parts charges. Our labor rate is like $20. We charge whatever our maintenance mechanics hourly rate is per hour to do the work. Generally, he's pretty quick. He doesn't take more than an hour or so, so the labor rate is relatively really low when he does have to do the labor himself. Now, when it comes to things like if we have to call in an outside contractor, like to clean the carpets or anything like that, or to paint, then we use the contractor's price. And then, like it says, we for each year they're there, we depreciate it by 10%. So, but yeah, that would be the labor, whatever it costs us from our workers to do the work.
okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Anybody else? Anything? Okay, I just need a motion.
Madam Mayor, move to approve Resolution B-2320 to adopt the schedule change of charges.
Second.
Begin voting, Commissioner Hengela.
Aye?
Uh,
Aye.
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 Okay. Okay, next up, Resolution B-2321, Planters 2 Capital Fund Program Grant.
Again, Madam Mayor, Commissioners, this is a grant that is established by HUD, and they, the Urban Development, Housing and Urban Development, they set the rate based on lease-up rates and how much money they're given to distribute between all the housing authorities. Our goal, our amount this year is $200,000, $495,000, and I will say that is the largest grant we've received in my 16 years being at the Housing Authority.
Okay.
And it just requires us to come before you each year just to get it approved, but we can't change it or anything.
Right. Okay, any questions, fellow commissioners? Did you have any questions?
No.
No,
Okay, I just need a motion.
I move to adopt the resolution accepting the 2022 CFP grant.
Second.
Begin voting with Commissioner Martin.
Aye.
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 Aye?
Okay. Next up, Resolution B-2322, Planters 2 Capital Fund Program 5-Year Action Plan and 2023 Capital Fund Annual Statement Performance and Evaluation Report.
Madam Mayor, Commissioners, this is also pertaining to the capital fund grant. These are the reports we use to tell HUD what we're going to do with the money. Basically, over the past few years, we've done things like replace all the interior doors in the apartments. We replaced the pipes throughout the whole building, got rid of cast iron and did PVC.
I remember that.
We are currently in the works. We're going to replace the cooling system in the building. We've had a lot of breakdowns with that. And as well as paint the halls and put new carpet and make the place look nice for the tenants. So that's what we do with that money. And so this is just the paperwork that we have to submit all these documents to get approval to receive our money and start using it.
Okay. Anybody have any questions? No. Commissioner Martin?
Just one.
Okay, sure.
When you had the public hearing on the 22nd of August, how well was it attended?
Oh, nobody came.
That's what I was afraid of.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, just need a motion.
I move approval of the plan and authorize its submission to HUD.
Second.
Begin voting with Commissioner Martin.
Aye.
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 Okay. Thank you, Andrea.
Thank you, Andrea.
Okay, next up. Bids, contracts, and agreements. Consider award of bid for 2022/2023 salt.
Madam Mayor and Commission, we have Derek Burleson, the Operations Superintendent, and Brian Faust, Director of Public Works.
Thank you, Madam Mayor and Commissioners. The item this evening is to consider award of the 22-23 salt bid. The procurement is up for up to 1,500 tons of crushed de-icing salt. The city did replenish our salt supply over the spring and early summer, and we do currently have a significant stockpile of de-icing material in our salt dome. However, a winter with a number of events, small or large, usually our smaller ones, we use more salt, will likely require the purchase of some additional salt. Leavenworth County did advertise salt bids for their needs, and their bid specifications do allow the cities within Leavenworth to piggyback onto theirs. They opened their bids August 22nd, and the county did award the contract to the low bidder, which was Independent Salt Company, for $57.61 per ton. One thing I will note is during last winter, that we did begin application of a salt brine at our hot spots at several locations throughout the city. Salt brine is made at the service center and is a mixture of de-icing salt in water. This resulting solution or brine is applied before storm events and helps melt snow and ice from underneath. In 2022 and 2023, this season, we will be expanding our salt brine treatment to include emergency snow routes and other locations as time allows. This does have the potential to reduce the amount of road salt we will need to purchase in the future. So this will be a good year to try that. Budget impacts will vary depending on the severity of the winter. Funding is available for 2023 for this purchase, and staff recommends that the City Commission approve the Leavenworth County bid for rock salt at $57.61 per ton, or up to 1,500 tons from Independent Salt Company. And Derek is here if you have any questions.
Is there a minimum number of tons per delivery?
No, we can get pretty much what we need, as far as I know. Normally, we'll get about 500 to 750 tons at a time. We want to make sure we don't get it too low within our salt dome, but we don't want too much in there. So about 500 to 750 is when we ask for another.
Good. And I'm assuming, and you correct me if I'm wrong, that it costs a lot less to do the brine and then the salt as necessary than just doing the salt.
Yeah, because we can pre-treat with the brine. It's
Right.
a 23.3% solution. So when we put it down, really what it's doing is it's causing the ice and snow not to bond to the street as well. So when the snow piles up and we plow, it takes it off a little easier. So that means we can put less salt down at a time. So, and it's costing us, we make it ourselves, so we're talking about 62 cents a gallon of brine compared to how much it is for just salt.
And I'm sure that the people who drive the city streets are glad to not have all that salt coming up under their car.
Yes, we can use a lot less salt.
And I'm just glad to be able to drive around town.
I hear ya. Okay, then I just need a motion.
Madam Mayor, I move that the City Commission approve the Leavenworth County bid for rock salt at $57.61 per ton for up to 1,500 tons from Independent Salt Company.
Second.
Begin voting with Commissioner Hengela.
Aye.
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 Okay.
And I have a question. How do you say that name in Kansas?
Canopolis?
Canopolis.
Where's that located?
It's
North
a cool
of Salina, I
place. You
believe,
should
isn't
take
it?
your kids out there.
Okay. Yeah, my
That's
bad.
where?
north of
Big lake.
Salina.
It's got a big lake and
Oh,
it's,
okay.
we could take the kids there when they were young.
Yeah, I know that.
You were- that's
Curious.
right. Okay, consider award of bid for City Hall HVAC upgrades.
The item this evening is to consider the HVAC upgrades. This is a rebid of a project from earlier this year. The rooftop unit at City Hall was installed in 2005. This unit provides tempered outside fresh air to the occupied areas of the building. The unit typically runs 24 hours a day, and it is reaching its end of its useful life. Repairs are becoming more frequent, and replacement parts for a 17-year-old piece of equipment are becoming harder to find. The project was originally bid back in January of this year, but bids were ultimately rejected due to the cost significantly over the engineer's estimate. Staff did reevaluate the bid specs, and we were able to modify to allow additional equipment. When we bid it originally, we had one manufacturer that we bid. This time we allowed up to 3 different manufacturers without decreasing the capabilities of the upgrades. Bids were open September 7th, and Mr. Breeze Heating and Cooling was the low bidder. They have established local contractors, done numerous jobs here in the city.
Yes.
Funding is through the American Rescue Plan Act, and we recommend the City Commission accept the low bid from Mr. Breeze in the amount of $100,500.
No, that's great.
Mr. Faust,
Yes.
I noticed that the locations of these companies is now missing. I hope that's not on purpose. But I understand Mr. Breeze is located in Leavenworth, isn't it?
Yeah, their
Yes.
main office is in Eisenhower.
Eisenhower Road. Yeah.
Yep. Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Yep.
Good, that's good to hear.
Okay, well, I just need a motion.
Mayor, I move to approve the low bid from Mr. Breeze Heating and Cooling for the HVAC upgrade for $100,500.
Second.
Begin voting with Commissioner Hengela.
Aye.
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 Okay, next up. Consider award of contract for 2022 pavement evaluations.
Our Deputy Public Works Director, Earl Wilkinson.
Hi.
Thank you, Madam Mayor and Commissioners. So this is consideration of 2022 pavement evaluation contract. This will be the 3rd time the city has actually done this work. Our efforts in this is to collect the pavement condition index, or the PCI, for all of our streets. The PCI is a necessary component of our city's pavement management plan, which Mr. Faust will be talking about shortly. We went through a request for qualification process to evaluate the consultants for this effort. This time, we also added 2 alternatives to the proposal that we asked to get information and costs from the consultants on. And that was to collect all of the information and evaluate the sidewalks, curbs, and also the ADA ramps, and also to inventory all of our street signs. Currently, we do not have all of that baseline information in our GIS system, and we wanted to see what those costs would be to do that, because it would be very helpful for us to have all that information when we program capital projects or capital programs on an ongoing basis. With the PCI information, what we are doing is every 3 years we go out to collect that information. It really helps us with the ability to see the effectiveness of our overall pavement management plan, see what treatments work best, how those treatments are raising our PCI numbers for the overall network, or where our network stands. So collecting this data and updating it is very critical for us. So this year, we are recommending that we do add the alternatives to this particular contract. And I want to give you a couple examples here of the information, just so you can see what, when they go through and actually collect the information for the streets, they use a vehicle which has sensor equipment and several cameras. So these are a couple pictures that were collected in a previous project that we did. And as you can see, they do collect some of the curb and sidewalk data along with this vehicle, but they will also be sending people along the sidewalk at the ramps that will actually collect additional data that will be able to get all of the measurements and criteria to make sure that we're meeting ADA compliance. So that's one reason that particular item does cost a little bit more when you look at the overall price of their proposal. The other thing I would like to show you is kind of a finished product, if you will, of, and it's a little bit hard to see, but we gather all this information in a tabular form with what we consider important. It gives you the type of pavement, the PCI for that pavement, the location, and then the length of that. And then all of that is within our GIS system, which helps us each year when we develop our pavement plan to be able to know where and what treatments to use for that pavement plan. So the work is expected to start, if this is approved, in April of 2023, and it will be completed in July of 2023. So this information will not be for next year's program, but for the following program in 2024. But staff recommends approval of the contract to Stantec Consulting Services Incorporated for performing pavement evaluations and the two alternatives in an amount not to exceed $131,047.75.
Mr. Wilkinson, this initial data, if I remember right, I could be off on this, this is going to give us a baseline and we're going to be able to track things moving forward, correct?
Yes, we already have the data with the PCI or the pavement conditions, but we do not have comprehensive data on our ramps, on our sidewalks, and on our curbs, or the sign inventory. And with all of that, they will be able to geo-reference it, so it goes completely into our CAD system, which provides us with a lot of capabilities on how to locate and move forward and track that information.
Gotcha. Thank you.
No, yeah, I'm all about sidewalks. Did you have anything? Commissioner Hewlett, did you have anything?
No, looks like a good.
Looks great, okay, just need a motion.
Okay. I move approval of the proposal submitted by Stantec Consulting for performing the pavement evaluations, et cetera, for the sidewalk, curb, and ramp inventory and street signage. Total not to exceed $131,047.75.
Second.
Begin voting, Commissioner Hengela.
Aye.
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 Okay, next up is consider award of design services for 2023 pavement management plan.
Again, this item is to consider approval of a contract with Alfred Benish and Company to develop two things. One is the 2023 pavement plan, what streets are we going to work on in 2023, and to continue the development of a long-range comprehensive pavement management plan for the city. The pavement management plan is an asset management process used to allocate resources effectively and to maximize the service life of pavements. This includes a systematic process for inspection, which we just talked about with Stantec, evaluation, project planning, and maintenance of the entire street pavement network. This information collected as part of the process will be used to identify appropriate maintenance strategies. We typically say there's 4 maintenance strategies. Preventative maintenance, which are the surface seals which have been going on the last few weeks. Major rehab, which usually is defined as mill and overlay, which will be starting very quickly. Reconstruction, as well as stopgap measures. Advantages of a pavement management plan include improving the quality of the city street network in a financially responsible manner. Also data-driven, defendable project prioritization process that helps maximize the value and return on investment. prioritizes projects not only on the PCI or pavement condition index, but considers other impacts to residents and motorists, such as roadway classification, deterioration type, peripheral assets, traffic volumes, and other factors. Implementing a plan that considers both immediate and long-term needs, improves identification and submittals of funding sources and opportunities to supplement local city resources, and tracks and improves design and construction processes associated with roadway maintenance and reconstruction. As Earl mentioned, starting in 2026 and again in 2029, staff uses Stantec to provide an independent objective pavement condition analysis in the city. In 2019, that stated goal was to improve the street condition with an emphasis on bringing the city's overall street PCI to a range of 65 to 75. The overall street condition based solely on PCI was 54.2 in 2016, and it dropped to 51 in 2019. An initial decrease in PCI is not unexpected, as it can take time to reverse the downward momentum of pavement deterioration. The 2023 evaluation approved earlier this evening will provide an additional data set to further define pavement degradation rates and how our current treatments are working. While the PCI is an important component, the comprehensive program should take into account level of service and other factors to help prioritize pavement restoration decisions. The contract with Benish includes in the scope of services, development of the bid package for 2023. They will have that identified later this fall to early winter for bidding in early 2023. In the past, we've been bidding these projects late spring to summer for fall construction. We want to bid this in January of 2023 when contractors are more hungry and we'll get better bid prices.
Good idea.
Finish the development of a level of a service prioritization model with implementation plan. This model will be used to identify projects starting in 2024. Also, pavement management forecasting and a 10-year CIP planning effort. This will look at annual spending and impacts of budget shifts and adjustments on the overall level of service of the city street network. And finally, the plan will incorporate all project level costs into estimates through modeling the new PCI data received in 2023 for use in the 10-year CIP. A couple milestones I want to mention tonight. A work session with Benish and the Commission is scheduled for early October to help better define the desired levels of service and receive input from the Commission on priorities. And then, as I mentioned, bidding the projects by January of 2023. The cost of this is $151,235. We've laid out the dollars available in 2022 with an additional $500,000 that was not spent in 2021. So the cost of this for pavement management, which includes the mill and overlay for this year, the library parking lot, the microsurfacing, the Stantec, as well as the next phase of the comprehensive plan, comes to a total of $2.3 million. Staff does recommend approval of the design services contract with Alfred Benish and Company for developing a comprehensive pavement management program in the amount not to exceed $151,235. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Have any questions?
No?
No questions.
Okay, then I just need a motion.
I move to approve the design services contract with Alfred Benish and Company for developing our comprehensive pavement management program in an amount not to exceed $151,235.
Second.
Begin voting with Commissioner Martin.
Aye.
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 Next up, what this is about. Consider award of bid for repair bar rake gearbox and rake assembly.
Thank you. This item is the replacement of the gearbox and rake assembly for one of our 2 bar screens at our wastewater treatment plant. We have Tim and John here this evening to help answer any questions that you may have. The bar screen was identified as one of the 3 immediate needs at our wastewater treatment plant. Those 3 needs were the bar screen, the belt press, and a replacement of a trickling filter. Bar screens are one of the first items encountered in a plant. All wastewater comes into the plant into what's called the headworks. This incoming wastewater carries debris, rags, plastics that can damage pumps and other equipment. Our plant has 2 bar screens at the front end of the treatment process that are designed to remove large debris and rags. This helps protect the downstream processes from damage to pumps, plugging of lines, and ponding of the trickling filters. In addition to equipment damage, failure to remove these items contributes to high total suspended solids throughout the plant. The 2 original bar screens were installed in 1972, and then 25 years later, in 1997, they were replaced for $460,000. Since that time, the various floods, age, and overall hostile influent environment have resulted in substantial repairs to both bar screens. The current screens are 25 years old. WPC staff contacted C&B Equipment, which is the supplier of the original equipment, to get a cost of an exact replacement for the rake assembly portion of the bar screen. The rake assembly does include a new gearbox, drive shaft, stainless steel rake, along with installation. Douglas Pump through C&B is the only company that could get the exact replacement parts and provide a quote that included installation. Also, there is a significant lead time, up to 36 weeks, to actually attain the parts. Total cost for the parts along with installation is $133,097.25. And again, this bar screen is an immediate need, and the cost was included in the recommendations for the American Rescue Plan Act. Staff recommends the City Commission approve the sole source purchase and repair bid from Douglas Pump in the amount of $133,097.25. And again, Tim and John are here this evening if you have any questions.
Okay, I do have a quick question. On those bar screens, you said the original is 1972, then we replaced them in 1997. Do they make them out of the same material?
Well,
I mean, at least maybe you can see from 97, I don't know.
it was a different brand. The original one was actually like a bucket down there, and the guys would have to go down and put stuff in the bucket and then hoist that up. This one has been changed where they don't have to go down, it's there anymore. Actually has a rake where it pulls it up now, so nobody has to go down there.
And get
So it's
it.
a totally different type, more safe.
This
Right.
was installed in 97, a
Yes,
totally different
yes.
type.
The different type was-
So more efficient.
Yes, very much so.
Right. Okay, that's all I had. Anything? Okay, I just need a motion.
Madam Mayor, move to approve the purchase from C&B Equipment for the Douglas Pump in an amount not to exceed $133,097.25.
Second.
Begin voting with Commissioner Hengela.
Aye.
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 Thank you. Consider award for construction administration services for Second and Chestnut project.
Ryan and Earl again?
I know.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. City Commission. Consider construction-related services for Wilson and Company for a Second and Chestnut Stone Arch replacement project. Wilson and Company were the design consultants for this project. The Public Works staff, in an effort to reduce the overall costs, are doing the day-to-day construction administration and handling the inspection out there on the project. However, it's beneficial to have Wilson and Company assist in areas such as reviewing the shop drawings, helping us with monthly progress meetings and coordination meetings, and doing the final walkthrough and approval of the project, and also something very important, going out and measuring and getting all of the final measurements so that you can do what's called an as-built set of drawings that reflects what was constructed in the field versus what the design drawings were, because they always differ to some degree. So this will, to help complete this project, it's basically a collaboration between Lexico, Wilson and Company, and the Public Works team. So I did want to show a couple quick pictures of the project before I finalize this. One thing I wanted to do before I brought up the pictures, hopefully,
Thinking.
is is do a quick concept drawing, so maybe.
Must be a big file.
It worked an hour ago.
Yeah, I know. Okay, let's try the pictures. So what I was going to show you was the area where we're showing the pictures is where the outfall is. That is basically just a little bit north of the intersection of Second and Chestnut. This area, and you'll see it in the photographs. So, as you can see, the individuals down there, this is a 72-inch pipe. These are 3 sections that we've gotten in to this area. Get a little better. You can see the large amount of excavation that took place in order to get down through that. That is obviously a full-size excavator. So, and I think the very last picture is the best one to give you some idea of the size. So as you can see, that full-size excavator is below what would be the top part of the existing ground level up there. So, and as I said, roughly this area is 26 feet deep to the invert of the pipe. So very massive project, a lot of movement of soil just so that we could set up a safe area for the contractor to work and to start placing that pipe. And one reason the project will seem at times slow because of the size of pipe and depth that we're going. But all these activities are taking place out there right now, and so far everything's going fairly well. But this was the last part that we really wanted to bring to you and add so that we could complete this project as efficiently as possible. So staff recommends the City Commission award the construction-related services contract for Second Chestnut Stone Arch Replacement Project to Wilson and Company Engineers in the amount of $34,046.
I have a question.
Questions? Yes?
Is that, where that, in that alleyway where it collapsed so bad?
No, this is actually
Uniform.
to the east and north of that alleyway.
Okay,
So this is, we have a yard that is really close to this at the end of Chestnut Street as it goes towards the river. So this is very close to that location.
Okay.
Right there, just slightly north of the intersection of Second and Chestnut.
okay.
But we are doing prep work, and trees have been removed and fences have been relocated in order to get to that location where that collapses. So that, I don't know what their exact schedule is, but, you know, they'll probably be getting to that, I would assume sometime in mid to late October, weather permitting.
Okay, great. Thank you. Thank you. Huge project. It is a huge, it's a huge project.
No questions.
Okay, just need a motion.
I move we award the construction-related services contract for Second and Chestnut Stone Arch Replacement Project to Wilson and Company Engineers in the amount not to exceed $34,046.
Second.
Begin voting with Commissioner Hinguiler.
Aye.
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 Thank you. Okay, now on to first consideration ordinances. First consideration ordinance to adopt standard traffic ordinance 49th edition.
Next 3 items will be handled by our Police Chief, Pat Kitchens.
Hi.
Madam Mayor, Commission, the Police Department. That's right. Sorry, sir. Yelled at by Melissa in the morning. Madam Mayor, Commission, the Police Department is before the governing body this evening asking for you to place an ordinance on first consideration that will adopt the 49th edition of the standard traffic ordinance for Kansas Cities for use by the city of Leavenworth. Staff recommends approval.
For many, many years, the Kansas League of Municipalities has produced a standard traffic book for us to adopt and use as a generic model, which regulates all of the traffic rules that we enforce in the city of Leavenworth. And we've been using this book for many, many years. It is not effective until the local governing body adopts it. I've had in the policy report, what I will typically do is list all of the changes, which are typically associated with a couple of things. There's always some definition changes in there, and there's always some minor language changes to the, that affect maybe the definitions or individual ordinances. I've highlighted those on there, spent quite a bit of time reviewing them. There's nothing in the standard traffic ordinance book that's earth-shattering or substantive changes this year. Most of the definitions that you see and the language changes in there are associated with electric-assisted bikes. Those are a fairly new phenomenon. The bird scooter situation that we had over the course of the summer, most of the communities in the cities in Kansas are dealing with that. So usually what happens is they will incorporate that into the standard book for us to use, and that's what you see there. Certainly, I'll be glad to answer any specific questions that you have about the standard ordinance book, but it's pretty routine housekeeping matter that we do every year. If there are no questions about that, there's one other issue related to the municipal code of ordinances that we added to this ordinance. Catalina Thompson, our municipal court prosecutor, found that there is an item in our municipal code of ordinances that we need to repeal and remove because it's no longer in effect. It had to do, and I will specifically cite section 44-1 of chapter 44, Traffic and Vehicles, and section 44-5 of chapter 44, breath and blood alcohol test for driver under 21 years of age. That has changed several years ago. There was some sort of civil penalty specifically associated with underage drinking and driving that's been eliminated and changed. We still have that in our municipal code of ordinances, and so as part of this ordinance, we added that and advocate for you to repeal that and take that out because it no longer is valid. And I'll be glad to answer any questions about either of those items.
Did you inflict? Okay, got it.
You got it?
Yeah.
No? Okay, I just need a consensus then.
Yes?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, first consideration, ordinance to adopt 2022 Uniform Public Offense Code.
Yes, ma'am. Madam Mayor and Commissioners, the Police Department would be asking you to place an ordinance on first consideration to adopt the 2022 Uniform Public Offense Code for Kansas cities by the use of the city of Leavenworth. Again, very similar to the traffic book. This is our general standard book of criminal offenses, low-level misdemeanors, et cetera, that we have used for many, many years, and it is not effective until you, as a governing body, elect to pass. Again, I've highlighted the definition changes and the other changes that have taken place throughout the ordinances. In this instance, every year for however many years I've been doing this, there's always some kind of minor change to the DUI law. Either there's a change to the penalty on the second or third offense, something like that. Again, they've made some minor changes, nothing earth-shattering. There's no substantive changes to anything. The one item that I would point out to you that I feel like needs some public, or just at least some public acknowledgement is the section 11.8 of gambling. You might have seen recently that the state of Kansas passed sports wagering in the state of Kansas. There was some language in the local ordinance that affected that, and so they have removed that since sports wagering is now allowed in the state of Kansas. And so the local edition, we would take that out. You were not allowed to do that at the local level either, and so they've removed that. But that is the only other substantive change of note. The rest of it's all fairly minor definitions and small changes to the language that don't affect anything earth-shattering again. And that's my conclusion. I'll be glad to answer any questions that you have.
I got a question. So are slot machines allowed at gas stations?
That's an interesting question. I get a lot of, it depends on what it is. It really is. We would have to evaluate what it is. I know that there are some in town. We get opinions from the Attorney General, but we also get letters from legal representation arguing that it is legal, and so there's some discussion about that. Slot machines gambling is not legal in anywhere other than a casino or a designated place. What you see there in the gas stations are not, I think, what you would technically call slot machines, but there's a great deal of debate about that. We have not yet affected any arrests or done any enforcement on those until we get a little more clear comfort about where it actually falls in the gaming arena.
I got you.
And generally speaking, we would stay out of that anyway, unless we absolutely had to. We refer those matters to the gaming agents. We've sent that to them, and they've done a little bit of work on that.
Okay. Yeah, appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
You been gambling?
Yeah, you've been doing, Commissioner Wilson.
I be seeing them, I'm like, okay.
Okay,
2022.
if there isn't any further questions, just need a consensus. Aye.
Yep.
Sure, yeah.
First consideration ordinance to adopt 2022 traffic control device master list 2022.
Madam Mayor and Commission, we're asking the governing body to place an ordinance on first consideration that adopts the 2022 intersection traffic control device master index. All of the intersections in the city of Leavenworth are controlled from some mechanism, either through a stop sign or a traffic signal in some regard. And throughout the year, if there's an expansion of that, there's an addition to that, there's a change to that, we institute that. And then every year we come back and ask you to reauthorize though. The only change this year was relatively minor. At the intersection of 20th and Eisenhower, that was controlled by a stop sign. It is now controlled by a traffic signal. And so that's the only change, which is relatively minor, but we did note that as a change. So I would ask you to adopt, or to place that ordinance on first consideration to readopt all of the intersection control devices.
Yeah,
good with that.
okay.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Aye, yep.
Sure.
Consensus.
Yes.
Thank you, Chief Kitchens.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Commissioner Martin, you're up.
Yes, ma'am. Madam Mayor, I do move to approve the claims for August 20th, 2022 through September 9th, 2022 in the amount of $6,580,021.01. Net amount for payroll number 17 effective August 26, 2022 in the amount of $367,352.24. Includes police and fire pension in the amount of $9,888.71. And payroll number 18 effective September 9th, 2022 in the amount of $347,597.36. No police and fire pension.
Second.
Begin voting, Commissioner Hengela?
Aye.
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 Okay. Now, it looks executive session. Kamala,
Do you want to go around before?
we can. Let's go around beforehand.
Okay, just very quickly with the executive session, piggybacking on Mr. Faust, I hope the community's seen all the microservicing that's gone on. As a reminder, microservicing is one method, it's a preservation method, but I think it's the first time we've used it since I've been here, and it's been working very well. It sets pretty well. We've had one or two instances where it didn't get applied perfectly, and so we went back and redid it. So I hope everybody likes that. Curbs on 7th Street are starting to come out in anticipation of mill and overlay. Again, some mill and overlay work here in the next week or so. Downtown, Violet's 10th to 15th, 7th Street from Metropolitan South. So a lot of work still to come in the next couple weeks on that. Stubby Park construction of the restroom, the footings have been poured, the block is on order, the plumber's coming in next to do all the installation of the piping, so that's moving well. If the commission would like a site visit or a tour of the Second and Chestnut project, it's really something to go down to, so let me know, and we're happy to arrange that. Small Business Symposium, we're gonna have our discussion, our briefing by the Assistant City Manager at the study session next week, and that's coming together really well, so we'll get into details on that. And then finally, the trails work up at Havens Park will start on September 26th. So that's all I have for the commission.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Hengela, did you have anything?
Yeah, just one thing. Today I went and I gave blood and realized, yep, that's what I got my little, be nice to me, I gave blood today. The blood supply in Kansas City is not enormous, and I would encourage everyone to go and give blood, either through the Community Blood Center or through the American Red Cross. I know some folks have difficulty, guys like myself, who have had time in Europe exceeding 6 months during a certain number of years, but a lot of that has been deleted. Those restrictions have been deleted, but a lot of people don't know that. So if you're not sure and you want to give blood, please call one of those two organizations, the Community Blood Center or the American Red Cross, and ask them. Tell them your details, and they'll tell you if you can resume giving blood as you used to. So it doesn't take long, and I mean, boy, I asked for the best stick that they had, and she just, I never even knew it was in there.
Did they give you any, what is that? Someone said orange juice or cookies
Oh,
or something?
they told me I could have water, soda, orange juice, I had some water. And they also offered me, some cookies and crackers and all that stuff.
Okay. Okay.
Give blood.
Well, yeah. Thank you for doing that, Commissioner Hengela.
Just God bless.
I want to know where that machine is at the gas station. Okay.
We'll talk offline.
No gambling, no. I don't have anything tonight, thank you.
Commissioner Martin.
Just definitely everybody's probably hearing about some of the major supply chain concerns coming down the pike. So just want to be thinking forward and preparing as best we can.
Okay. And, no, I didn't have anything at this time. Just have a safe rest of the week.
Leavenworth.
Oh. Yeah, Camp Leavenworth, that's not this weekend. It's
Right.
in 2 weeks.
Yep.
September 23rd, September 24th. So Friday evening, and then Saturday, the 5K starts at 10, and then their 4th to the evening. Fireworks are Friday night. But we'll probably say that again next week, just to remind
Yeah,
people.
absolutely.
So I'm excited. It looks like it's gonna be really good weather, so, keep fingers crossed. Okay, so being that said, we'll go ahead into the executive session. I, Kamala Leonhard, move the city commission recess into executive session for a period of 20 minutes for the purpose of discussing a real property matter with the city attorney under the justification for consultation with an attorney for the public body or agency which would be deemed privileged in the attorney-client relationship, KSA 75-4319 B2. The city commission, city manager, and city attorney will be present. The opening meeting will resume in the city commission chambers at 7:22?
7:25.
7:25. Okay, I need a second.
Second.
Begin voting, Commissioner Hengler.
Aye.
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 We're back in normal session, so I just need, I guess, a motion to end the meeting.
I move that we adjourn this meeting of the city commission.
Second.
Begin voting, Commissioner Martin.
Aye.
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 Okay. Have a good evening.